Are you afraid of dolls? This one looks cute, but trust me, when you're alone in a dark room and it's staring at you, it's not exactly a pleasant feeling. Creepy as hell. Of course, I could have thrown it away a long time ago, but it's kind of dear to me. Damn it. Sorry, where was I? Right, I'm afraid of dolls. Psychological professor Frank McAndrew once said that one of the creepiest hobbies is collecting dolls. And for good reason. Seriously, sometimes even looking at one freaks me out. Catherine Riddick, for example, buys up dolls that are supposedly possessed by demons. She talks to them, and maybe they even talk back. Tell me, why does she do this? Do you know? I may act all brave in front of the camera, but let's be real, I would never ever approach her in a dark room and start a conversation. Because if she actually answered me, my sanity would be gone forever. That was the introduction, but today we're talking about just one doll, one of the most famous and possibly the scariest. Recently, I rewatched the great comedy The Curse of Annabelle. The first real mention of this doll was in The Conjuring.
She wanted to live with us by inhabiting the doll. We said yes. But then things got worse.
We all love movies based on the true stories, and this is one of those, meaning they're telling us this actually happens. But before we investigate, let me tell you what supposedly went down. In 1970, a mother bought her daughter a doll from a thrift store. Over time, the doll started appearing in different places around the house. Mysterious notes were found in the hallways. A psychic claimed that the doll was possessed by its previous owner, a girl named Annabelle Higgins. This creepy doll was soon handed over to the famous paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. They, in turn, claimed the doll had injured and even killed people. As someone who's afraid of dolls, even reading this were unsettling. Now I'll say this upfront, this is the only version of the story you'll find online. There is no counter evidence. Nothing at all. But don't worry, we're going to get to the bottom of it. The earliest known doll was found in Czech Republic about 26,000 years ago, made from mammoth ivory. Over the centuries, many dolls have been discovered, often used in ritual practice. Take the Shapti dolls, for example, funeral dolls that were believed to accompany the deceased into the afterlife. And of course, you've all heard of voodoo dolls. Basically, the idea that a soul can inhabit a doll has been around for ages. And kids, well, they talk to their dolls and even wish they could come to life. Who knows, maybe they actually do. Is she still there? The whole Annabelle legend became famous mostly because the people keeping her were famous. The renowned demonologist couple, Ed and Lorraine Warren. They took the doll in because it was supposedly causing all kinds of supernatural chaos. And of course, the moment it ended up with this demonologist, surprise, there was a demon inside. No, I love a good plot twist, but this is not one of them. There was no way the Warrens wouldn't find a demon in the doll. Either all, these people see demons everywhere, even where there aren't any. Take Amityville, for example. I'll cover that in another episode. Ed and Lorraine Warren claimed that place was overrun with evil spirits, that it was termined with paranormal activity.
That's where I levitated with my body in that home. Really, really terrible.
Which is hilarious considering that the people involved later admitted they made it all up. But whenever the Warrens have a paranormal museum where you can see all sorts of spooky artifacts. And yes, Annabelle is sitting inside the glass gate, with a sign that says, "Do not open under any circumstances." I've always found this kind of adorable. A demon from hell traveled all this way, possessed any damn doll, killed people, and then got trapped by glass? I can do anything, but damn it! class? You bastard! Let's see how she looked in a based on a true story movie. Pretty freaky, right? And now, here's what she actually looks like. And everyone's like, how do you go from this to that? I just don't get it. I can totally imagine this ragdoll straggling you at night, and you don't even mind because it's so soft. This is just a classic Raggedy Ann doll, a character from children's book that became super popular over time. She's not scary at all, which is why horror directors swapped her for a creepy porcelain version. But that doesn't mean much. These poor demonologists insist that one time a tourist secretly mocked the doll, and on his way home, he died in a car crash. Terrifying, yeah, scary as hell. Except there is zero evidence of this even happening, just the Warren's word. And they milked the story for everything it was worth. And honestly, none of their paranormal claims have ever been verified. Not by scientists, not by anyone. Now, let's talk about the fear of dolls. It's called pediophobia. It's a subset of automatonophobia, which is the fear of human-like figures, like mannequins. But why are we afraid of things that can't actually harm us? Imagine you hear a noise in the next room. You walk in and there's a doll staring at you. It's always been there, but suddenly you feel uneasy. In 2013, Francis McAndrew and Sarah Koenke published a study on this phenomenon. Fear is a natural response when we can't determine where a threat is coming from. A knock, a whisper, completely ordinary things can start to seem terrifying, especially when they resemble a small child. And that's what we call uncanny valley, a term that describes our discomfort with something inhuman that looks like too human. Look at this robot, gives you the creeps, right? The mechanical movements, the eerie stare, it all makes you think that one day the thing might start walking toward you with a frozen smile.
I will destroy humans.
Then again, maybe this fear is just pop culture messing with our heads. There are way too many horror movies and books about it. I'm also scared of clowns, even the nice ones, but after Stephen King's It, they don't seem so harmless anymore. That's exactly how this works. But how do we debunk the Annabelle story? Joseph Laycock from the University of California says there's a very logical explanation, and I'm going to show you. 1970, Annabelle appears. At the same time, in Florida, another demon doll named Robert pops up. So what? Demons are just checking into America like tourists? Oh, we check in at noon, so you go in this doll and I'll take that one. But I have a different theory. 1963, The Twilight Zone, one of the most famous mystery shows ever, airs an episode called Living Doll. Spot the 10 difference. Mother gives her daughter a doll, which starts moving around the house, talking and driving people insane. Sounds familiar? It's literally Annabelle in a nutshell. Don't believe me? Guess what the mother's name was in that episode? Annabelle. So what does this mean? The doll forced the writers to create the episode. I'm genius! No, you stupid! In reality, this story wasn't even invented. It was copied. And trust me, Ed and Lorraine Warren have been caught lying way too many times. Not a single one of their claims have been verified. So what is this? Mental illness? A cash grab? Or do they actually see some crazy shit? Of course, no demons ever possessed these dolls, and no one actually died from them. This is all just a made-up story. But who am I to tell you what to believe? Think yourself. Hit a like button if you watch this with your doll. That sounded kinda wrong. Unfortunately, my story won't cure your fear of dolls. This idea is so deeply rooted in our minds that walking through a dark room and feeling a doll gaze on you will always send a chill down your spine. Or maybe they really are alive. I want to believe, but somehow I just can't.